Imagine if ancient Egypt discovered electricity. Have you ever wondered what would happen if ancient Egypt, yes, the land of pyramids, pharaohs, and mummies discovered electricity? Picture this: the mighty pharaohs, instead of holding golden crooks and flails, might have been brandishing electric wands like high-tech sorcerers. Imagine the Great Pyramid of Giza, not just a silent stone monument, but glowing like a giant light bulb, its colossal form outlined by neon-like electric wires, and those intricate hieroglyphs. Now they'd be displayed in all their glory with LED lighting, twinkling at night like ancient billboards. Move over, Times Square. Let's take a moment to really dig into how this discovery would have changed daily life for the Egyptians. Instead of using the labor-intensive methods of carrying water from the Nile to their crops, imagine them hooking up an electric irrigation system. Farmers, sitting in the shade of palm trees, could control the flow of water with the flip of a switch. Crops along the Nile would thrive as electricity-powered pumps distribute water evenly, and harvests would be bountiful. Who needs the annual flooding of the Nile when you've got solar panels on the roof of your temple, powering your farmland? Now, picture the temples. In those vast, echoing halls were already mystical, but now, imagine them infused with electric lights. Pharaohs would stand under spotlights, with lightning-like effects for extra drama. Perhaps they'd even have speakers powered by the electricity, of course booming the voices of the gods from hidden corners of the temple. Visitors would be in awe of these divine performances, mistaking the hum of electricity for the presence of the gods themselves. And what about the social scene? The introduction of electricity wouldn't just be a technological revolution. It would completely reshape society. The electricians of ancient Egypt would become the new rock stars of the workforce. Pharaohs would host grand banquets, inviting the most skilled spark masters, as they'd be called to sit alongside the high priests. After all, these were the folks powering the pyramids and the lavish parties at the royal palace. Who could say no to a pharaoh with electric chariots? Yes, that's right, forget horses. We're talking about early versions of electric cars speeding down the desert, dust trailing behind them like something out of a sci-fi movie. Oh, and if you think traffic jams in Cairo today are bad, just imagine a bunch of these ancient electric cars trying to get to the pyramids during a solar eclipse ceremony. But the impact wouldn't stop there. Cultural exchange with neighboring empires would skyrocket. Word of Egypt's electricity would spread like wildfire, or rather, like a fast-traveling electric current. Imagine neighboring civilizations, the Greeks, Persians, or Babylonians, hearing about this electrified superpower on the Nile. They'd rush over, offering treasures, alliances, or maybe even plotting wars, just to get their hands on that precious technology. Diplomatic meetings wouldn't be so different from modern tech conventions, with pharaohs showing off their latest gadgetry. Speaking of wars, what would ancient battlefields look like with electricity in the mix? Catapults. Please, imagine electrically powered siege weapons, or better yet, some type of ancient shock troops, literally armed with electricity to zap their enemies. It wouldn't just be swords and spears anymore. Pharaohs might even invest in electric defenses for their palaces, guard statues powered by electricity that could zap any intruders trying to break in. And let's not forget about the common people. They wouldn't be left in the dark either, quite literally. Every mud brick house along the Nile would have its own little lamp, flickering on at sunset, powered by mini generators. No more reliance on smoky oil lamps. They'd be charging up their devices, whatever ancient equivalent of a smartphone they might have had, while enjoying a relaxing evening by the river. In fact, you could say that electricity would electrify every aspect of life in Egypt, from art and culture to agriculture and warfare. Maybe they'd even start exporting their electric expertise. The world's first electrical engineers might have been Egyptians, and they'd leave a monumental legacy. Even beyond the pyramids, scholars from far-off lands would flock to Egypt to learn the secrets of this strange new power. And maybe, just maybe, it would change the entire course of history. Would we even have had the Middle Ages? Or would the world have plunged straight into a high-tech ancient future. It's fun to imagine, right? So, like and subscribe to keep exploring more what-if scenarios that could have reshaped history. Who knows? Maybe next time, we'll be talking about Julius Caesar discovering the internet.